We've had lots of big wins this week, folks. I am not kidding you. Left and right, we have had win after win after win. I'm talking about exposure of the Bidens, and I'm talking about what the Supreme Court has been doing. They have rolled over three different rulings this week that the left is livid about, and anytime the left is mad, it's probably a good thing for the country. That's just my opinion, folks, but I believe that seems to be the absolute fact at this point. Now, I'm going to bring you a story with Nancy Mace, who I didn't used to care for because she was not always a friend of Trump. She's always been a little bit outspoken, but I'm not going to hold that against her at this point. She is part of our oversight committee, and she has been down there in the skips and seen the 1023 forms and has been doing a lot of the investigative homework that it takes to expose all this information. So she has been on a lot of the news channels, including Fox, here lately. I got a video here of her with Maria Bartiromo, and she's got some news for us. This just lets me, for what she says here, this lets me know that the Republicans in the House are not playing. They are investigating all that they can in every direction as fully as possible. They're going to push for subpoenas. They're going to push for contempt charges for anybody that refuses to show up. They are in process of getting this ball rolling in the right direction. Anybody that gets in their way, tries to stop them, the Christopher Wray types, it's not going to work. Eventually, this information will get out there. Eventually, a lot of these redactions that are part of this 1023 skip reports are going to be found out through other directions, because we don't just have the 1023 forms. We've got SAR reports. We've got the documentation from the LLC's transactions. We've got the laptop from hell. We've got Joe Biden speaking on the phone. We got Hunter Biden speaking on the phone. We got text messages. We got threats from Joe Biden about if the guy's not fired, you're not getting the $1 billion. We have got so much evidence, including Joe Biden admitting that he sold state secrets and many other things much worse. Words right out of his mouth. Folks, there's been so much exposure as to how dirty this family is, and we're just getting started. We're going to find out why these folks are protecting the Bidens so hard. These people willing to put their career on the line. I'm talking about the Christopher Wray types, all the folks that lied, the 51 that lied to protect Biden, because it's not about Biden. It's about the money. It's about protecting Obama. It's about protecting Hillary Clinton. It's about protecting themselves, considering all these folks that are involved in this, the crooks and the liars and the thieves. They are all now have to protect their own necks because they did things that were not proper and accurate to the law or for the benefit of this country, in order to protect the cash cow, which is, I would say, China and Ukraine, two of the biggest factors at this point. Now, I am glad to see that Lindsey Graham got booed at the South Carolina Trump rally today. Even in his home state, the Trumpers know what kind of a human being he is. I cannot stress that enough. I would not, if I lived in South Carolina, I would vote for Lindsey Graham. If there was nobody else running, I just couldn't do it. This man is not good for the country. He never votes like a Republican, but he pretends to be Trump's friend. That is not the kind of people Trump needs in his inner circles. I don't even know why Lindsey Graham was invited, just to be honest. Maybe Trump needs him, but I don't think so. I think he needs Trump, and that's the truth of the matter. He's a turncoat, rhino, whatever, however you want to label him. But I got a video here for you, folks. I hope everybody will enjoy. I'm just glad to see Nancy Mace doing God's work, getting to the bottom of this, exposing this stuff, and letting us know we're just getting started. That's the key mantra here. We're just getting started. Everything that drips out is just another piece of this puzzle. And eventually we're going to get to see the whole picture, including everybody involved, including the Obamas, actual individuals from these agencies, these people that tried to prosecute Trump for illegitimate reasons, these attorneys from Delaware, these other attorneys from D.C., and U.S. assistant attorneys as well. Somebody is lying between all of these different pieces of information that have come out due to the whistleblowers, and I think they need to get like Merrick Garland and Blinken and Mayorkas, and then all of these people that say that they're liars, that we can absolutely prove that all these folks are liars. We need to get all 9 or 10 of them, if not 15 or 20, in the same room in the House and have them debate each other as to which one is lying, because we've got two sides to most of these stories in these investigations. We've got somebody over here lying and saying, no, it wasn't me, and then you got somebody else over here going, yep, it was them. They're the ones that did the obstruction. And I think we're going to find out a lot more about this as time goes on. We're actually just scratching the surface of the corruption. I heard yesterday that we believe now that there is $40 million in transactions that involve the Bidens, and Nancy Mace found one particular a piece of information in the 1023s in the SCIF that had a transaction that the Bidens were involved in for $40 million just on that one transaction. So we're talking 40 plus million plus a new figure to add to the amount of money that we're finding out the Bidens have been allegedly raking in. James Comer at one point said it's at least 40 million, and who knows, considering there's so many countries that they have yet to even dig into as far as the transfers. Now let's go ahead and get into Nancy Mace here with Maria Bartiromo, and this is all good news. I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. I got the next couple of days off to enjoy my weekend. Don't got to go back till after the 4th. So nice. Hope everybody's able to enjoy their 4th of July and realize what it's all about, not just hot dogs and hamburgers over the grill. It's about independence. It's about our country. It's about our flag. It's about respect and pride for our nation. So I hope everybody on the 4th of July does more than pops fireworks and eats hot dogs. I hope they take time out to appreciate that flag, appreciate this country for the good things that are still here that make this country such a great place. That's why we have to fight so hard to keep it. That's why voting matters so much. I encourage everybody, register to vote and vote. Even if you think all is lost, do it anyway. At least do your part, if nothing else. Let's go ahead and get into Nancy Mace here with Maria Bartiromo. This was last night, but I just thought it was definitely worth sharing.
It's great to see you this weekend. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Maria, as always.
So what's going on in terms of the DOJ? We are hearing increasing stories that Merrick Garland, the AG, perhaps got in the way of the U.S. Attorney's investigation. David Weiss says that he was stopped at every turn trying to do the investigative steps necessary in investigating tax crimes of Hunter Biden.
Right, and it's very clear here that somebody is lying, and I trust these whistleblowers far more than I trust the Attorney General Merrick Garland. And what we ought to be doing is subpoenaing everybody, every single document, every deposition, especially Hunter Biden's yesterday, anything that there is, because what we have learned is that the DOJ has been complicit and has been covering up this investigation. We heard from the IRS whistleblower this week, and what I want to do is I want to call Merrick Garland, the Attorney General. I want to have him to Congress under oath and ask him if he ordered the code red, because the more that we learn about this, the worse it gets. And I think this is going to go down as one of the most corrupt presidents, most corrupt administrations in U.S. history. And I can't express how angry I am, Maria. The more that I learn about this, the far worse it gets. And the fact that they were blocking this investigation of corruption and money laundering, literally the Biden family sold our country out. It's unbelievable and it's obscene, and every American should be angry about this.
Absolutely. Well, your committee, the House Oversight Committee, has uncovered a whole host of evidence, and the chairman, James Comer, told me last week that he thinks it could be upwards of $40 million that you can identify of money taken in by the Biden family. How long has this been going on, and what can you tell us about your investigation right now into the influence peddling?
Now there's a picture, folks, of some of the Bidens that have took some of this money. So my question is, if Hunter Biden hasn't paid his taxes and has been proven to not be paying his taxes over a lot of his global dealings, is there any chance that the IRS needs to look into James Biden, Sarah Biden, Haley Biden, Melissa Biden, Kathleen Biden, and even Joe Biden? Because I almost guarantee you, all this money laundering going on, they'd rather nobody know about it. So I guarantee you they're not paying taxes on none of it. Let's see if we can get tax evasion charges on all these folks, put a little pressure on them. Why is nobody investigating this? Why is nobody investigating this? Why do we not have any attorney generals in these Republican states that can pick up some of these charges through proof that the IRS probably already has on hand, knowing that a lot of these folks need to be audited at a minimum for being involved in what we now know is the biggest scheme to influence peddling scheme to ever hit America.
Well, our investigation will get to the bottom of it. I'll tell you, some of the suspicious activity reports that we've seen, I saw one alone that was over $40 million. Now, that was split between multiple people, not just the Bidens and their family members. But when we talk about, the 18 million that the IRS whistleblower brought up this week, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think this could go far. It's going to go far north of that. I think it could go further than $50 million dollars that we're talking about. But we, as the Oversight Committee, have to win the court of public opinion by showing the overwhelming amount of evidence that I believe our committee is going to receive. So we are using firms in foreign countries to get bank records overseas. We have to be able to connect the dots, show the evidence, because as you just saw on the screen you provided, Maria, America doesn't trust Congress. So what I want to see us do is provide the evidence and let the American people decide for themselves just how corrupt this president and his administration and his family have really been.
Well, look, Dr. Jill Biden has been pushing him to run in 2024. Maybe she doesn't want the gravy train to stop. Can you walk us through the most important and most damning evidence that you...
I hate to pause it, but did you hear that, folks? Dr. Jill Biden is pushing for him to run again in 2024. She's either promoting elderly abuse, or she's worried that if her husband is not president, then her family will go to jail because they won't have that bubble of immunity around them that is involved with all these three-lettered agencies protecting them over their alleged crimes. I think they feel like they have to do it at this point because the walls are crashing in, and somehow or another they think him being president will insulate him. I think it's actually going to be the opposite effect. I don't think he will run, but if he does, it's going to be an ugly case, considering Joe Biden will have to come sit before the Congress at one point and explain himself for all the evidence that had been laid out over the next 18 months. Let's get back into it.
You say you have, I know, bank records, you've got these suspicious activity reports and the whistleblower testimony. Walk us through what's most damning in your view.
Well, the 1023 forms so far have been the most damning, and if we could get them unredacted, we'd have everything that we would need to connect the dots. But unfortunately, the FBI has been stonewalling our investigation. Thank God that we have Congressman Comer and Senator Grassley. Grassley seems to know where all the bodies are buried, and we get information from their research and from whistleblowers that are coming forward. I would encourage every whistleblower, everyone who has information, to come to our committees. But the bank records are going to be key because we're not allowed to share the suspicious activity reports. The 1023 forms that are unclassified are also going to be very important because they corroborate information in texts and emails and WhatsApp messages that Hunter Biden had on his laptop. None of this is a conspiracy theory. Maria, you know that I call the balls and strikes right down the middle, and this is going to go down as one of the most explosive stories of corruption in United States history when we're done with this investigation.
But do you think you'll get to the bottom of it? I mean, let's face it, Comer told us that there's like 20 shell companies. Yeah, but there are 20 shell companies. How are you going to follow the money? They made it real complex, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And in the first 1023 form from the FBI, the Ukrainians were bragging about how it would take the U.S. government 10 years to follow the money and figure out where the money came from and where it finally ended up through the different shell companies. But thank goodness we have good witnesses and whistleblowers from the IRS who've done some of that investigation, who've done some of that work until they were blocked by what it sounds like to be Merrick Garland, who's going to be key to all of this. We have to get him under oath. We have to get him before Congress, and we have to get the truth. We don't have a lot of time, Maria. It's going to take a lot of money and resources, and we've got to work fast.
You hear that, folks? They're going to sew this case up together with the evidence they have. They're going to prove that Merrick Garland has obstructed justice. They're going to get him to sit in front of Congress and probably lie some more so they can eventually hold him in contempt and try to impeach him for his dereliction of duty and his obstruction, among many other things that he has done to just try to ruin this country, being one of Biden's top picks. I think it's a coincidence that by everybody that has protected by the Bidens over the last 8 to 10 years now hold top seats in the Biden administration. I think that's a coincidence, folks. I don't, but I do see that the Republicans aren't playing. They're trying to get to the bottom of this. They're not going to be stopped. They're going to find this information. They're going to get it out one way or another. Even the redacted information is still finding a way to wiggle its way out, because there's more than one way to investigate a source in a situation, especially with all these different reports and different things that are coming out. Like I said, the puzzle is coming together, folks. Almost every day we get another piece of the puzzle to help expose what the big picture is going to be. When we can lay out the big picture like a complete puzzle and show the American people. I'm talking timelines. I'm talking people involved. I'm talking about money transactions that probably goes to people like Christopher Wray and stuff, because they're not just beholden to Joe Biden behind politicians. They're all beholden to Joe Biden behind the Democrat Party and the money that's involved in what they're all involved in. And that is the silver lining that is going to blow this whole situation out of the water. We're going to find out not only are the Bidens corrupt, but everybody that has been covering for him are in on it too. That's what I'm looking forward to, folks. It's coming. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of how devastating and how hard the Republicans will push to get not just impeachments, but actual prosecutions of some of these folks that have done some treasonous things to this country. And I said it, treasonous. Like, subscribe, and share to Devoted Patriots. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Everybody have a great 4th of July. Over and out.